Hello, everyone. Welcome to FinTech and its impact on global finance and banking. My name is Mirza Sheho, and I will be your chief examiner this semester, and I will also be a tutor to some of you. In this video, I would like to take you through the unit outline to see what are we going to cover in this unit, how are we going to deliver it, how are we going to assess your knowledge that you will acquire throughout the semester in this unit, and lastly, upon successful completion of this unit, what do we expect you to gain from this unit? Many of you perhaps already know what fintech is, and I am sure that most of you are active users of fintech services and products. For those who are not very familiar with fintech and the fintech world, what fintech stands for is financial and technology. And it refers to any business that uses technology to enhance or automate financial services and processes. And for those who are in Malaysia, of course, most likely you are using at least one digital wallet, be it GrabPay or Touch and Go. And perhaps some of you are even actively trading in cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin or Ethereum. And perhaps some of you have already invested through crowdfunding or P2P lending platforms, and etc. So being new generations, I am sure that most of you are active users of fintech products and services. And from this photo here that you see on the screen, and this is based on the fintechnews.ny, there are 233 fintech companies in Malaysia, and this is, mind you, as of 2021. And the fintech landscape is growing every day, and it's growing exponentially. There are so many fintech companies out there that we are aware of, and most of them that we are not aware of. So in this unit, we want to see how these companies are succeeding in their businesses. What are the business models that they have? What makes it possible for them to come to this, financial services scene and disrupt some of the, huge incumbents that are in this, financial services industry. So what is the synopsis of this unit? In this unit, what we are trying to achieve is to basically provide insights to you into the key developments in the financial services industry. We will see what's happening in the financial services industry. Most of the incumbents are dormant and are not really doing much in terms of the financial technology adoption. In fact, they have started as of late, but because they were a little bit late to the game, that's why these fintech companies are so successful and are ahead of these incumbents in the financial services industry. The second thing that we want to see is the impact of these financial technology companies and the disruption that they are causing to the financial services industry and the incumbents. Then we want to see who are the key players in the fintech arena and what are their business models. How do their business models make it possible for them to succeed and to compete with these giants that we have in the financial services industry? And lastly, we want to see what are the potential future trends in the fintech space, where all of this is heading, and what is it that we can expect in the near future and in the long term. So in this unit, we try to collate the knowledge and insights and experience from us, the academicians, but also the industry practitioners. And as you will see later, we will try to bring industry practitioners to share their knowledge, their latest knowledge, and provide us with some insights and information that otherwise we wouldn't be able to acquire. So as usual, as in all your other units, perhaps, we're going to have lectures of about 1 hour, more or less, and these will be pre-recorded and uploaded to your Moodle site by Tuesday latest. Tutorials are going to be 1.5 hours, and some of them, for most of you, they're going to be face-to-face, but there are those students who are unable to come to Malaysia at the moment, and we will also provide an online tutorial for those. Of course, some of you who might be from Malaysia and for valid reasons are willing to take online session only, I think if you have gotten the approval from the school, then that is also fine. And of course, we're going to have forums. These are going to be 1.5 hours, and we're not going to have these every week. These will usually be scheduled, as you have seen in your timetable, at 3 p.m. on Fridays. And as of now, we plan to have 4 of them. We are going to use some of these forum sessions to talk about some of the assessments. So for example, we have 2 assessments that require some kind of further explanation. For example, social trading or investment reflection essay will be discussed in week 3 during the forum time. And in week 4, we will also talk about the business model canvas, which you are going to use for your assessment for your fintech idea. And of course, this is not all that is expected of you. This is what we are officially, offering to you during these sessions. But of course, as students, you are also expected to conduct some independent study in terms of reading, preparation for scheduled activities, the tutorials and forums that we're going to have, and of course, for assessments. There will be some pre-lecture online assessments that you will have to take, and of course, all the others. So what are the topics that we are trying to cover in this unit? Of course, there are so many things going on in the fintech space, but we simply do not have enough time to cover all of them. So we've selected some of the most important to us that we consider most important, and these are the topics that we are going to cover during this semester. We are mostly guided or led by the World Economic Forum's Wheel of Disruption, which basically addresses or identifies 6 areas of financial services innovation. And they all call this Wheel of Disruption. So, of course, in the first week, we're just going to have introduction to fintech. And in the second week, we're going to talk about blockchain and distributed ledgers, one of the hot topics in the fintech space, one of the most promising technologies up to date. And we're also going to talk about blockchain applications in week 3. So in the second week, we're going to talk about what the technology is, what potential it has, and then we're going to look at some of the applications on blockchain technology. And in week 4, we're going to talk about payments and cryptocurrencies, perhaps maybe one of the most interesting topics to most of my students that I've seen before, cryptocurrencies, because many of you perhaps are already trading in cryptocurrencies. And then in week 4, we're going to talk about digital wallets and remittances. As you notice, week 4 and 5 are kind of related because they all are about a payment system. Of course, cryptocurrencies are not all about payments. There are some other areas that are affected, but some of the cryptocurrencies are specifically designed to address the payment issues and the payment system. In week 6, we're going to talk about crowdfunding, and in week 7, we're going to talk about P2P lending. These are similar in a way. Both are, so to say, crowdfunded, but it's just a matter of whether it is equity crowdfunding or debt-based lending. In week 8, we're going to talk about robo-advisors and social trading platforms, and then week 9 is dedicated to insurtech. And in week 10, we're going to talk about cybersecurity. Week 11 is reserved for regulatory and policy considerations. And lastly, week 12, we're not going to have any particular lecture. This is reserved for you to prepare your video presentation on the fintech startup pitch that you are going to have with your group mates. And as you might already know, there are 3 of us that will deliver this unit to you. 3 instructors, myself, Professor Dr. Neil O'Connor, who will also conduct 1 lecture, also 1 forum, and he will be tutoring, if I'm not mistaken, as of now, 2 sessions. And lastly, Dr. Nurlina Hanifa will be a tutor to some of you. Of course, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. These are our emails and phone numbers. And of course, if you go to your Moodle site, you will also find the Zoom details through which you can reach us. Now, assessment summary, perhaps one of your biggest concerns. This unit, as you know, is all within semester assessment. So it's 100% within semester assessment. And it does not have a hurdle rate, no hurdle requirement. In other words, as long as you collect 50% of the total grade, you will pass this unit. Now, let's look at the assessment tasks that we have. Just briefly cover them. In a separate video, I will talk about these assessment tasks in more detail. The first assessment task is pre-lecture quizzes, and it carries 10%. The second one is midterm test 1 that carries 15%. And the third assessment task is midterm test that carries 20%. Then we have social trading investment reflective essay that carries 15%. So all of these so far are individual assessment tasks. And the last assessment task, which is on fintech startup idea pitch, from which you have to write a report and provide a video presentation, this will be group work. And the report itself will carry 25%, while the presentation will carry 15%. Mind you, the report is entirely group-based, although if there are any disagreements between the group members, then these members will be graded individually. And the presentation, although it is based on a group work that you're going to come up with, it will be assessed individually. And of course, upon successful completion of this unit, we want you to take away some of the things. So what is it that we expect you to walk away after successfully completing this unit? First, we want you to be able to explain the latest industry developments and understand the market dynamics of the fintech revolution. So hopefully one day when you graduate, when you finish this unit and you go out there for interviews and to talk to your friends and parents, and colleagues and family, you will be able to understand what's going on and explain to them if they do not know. Secondly, we will be able to understand the main components of fintech and their impact on the financial services industry. Very often, perhaps you have read or heard from others that fintech companies are disrupting the financial services players. It's sometimes true, but not all the time. I personally think that this disruption word is overused when it comes to fintech. Not all fintech companies are disruptors. Some of them are complementers. Some of them are enhancers of the existing players. So as we go through this unit, we will see what fintech companies are really disruptors, which ones are disrupting the existing players, and which of them are simply complementing what they do or enhancing what the existing players do. Thirdly, upon successful completion of this unit, you should be able to apply critical thinking, problem solving, and demonstrate presentation skills to individual or group activities dealing with fintech, and demonstrate in an individual summative assessment task the acquisition of comprehensive understanding of the topics covered by this unit. In other words, once you complete this unit, we hope that you will acquire enough knowledge and be able to critically think about the issues that you might come across, whether in discussing with your friends, colleagues, or at interviews. Because mind you, nowadays when you go for interviews for positions in financial institutions, it is very likely that you're going to have questions on fintech, and this is where your critical thinking will be very useful. And lastly, this unit should provide you with practical entrepreneurial, investor, and financial skills so that you are able to assess fintech startups and perhaps launch your own. After all, the last assessment that I just mentioned earlier, the whole idea is for you to try to come up with an original idea that hopefully one day you can convert into a fintech startup and be your own boss and grow your own company. What are the resources that you need to successfully complete this unit? Well, there are some recommended textbooks. Fintech is fast evolving and it's changing every day. The best resource that you have is the internet. by actively reading news, by trying to understand what's going on, and etc. But there are a few books that might be very helpful to understand the basic concepts of these fintech companies. And we recommend these 3 books here. Most importantly, for successful completion of this unit, you need good internet connection with access to Zoom, which I'm sure you all have. Why do you need Zoom? Well, some of our forums will be conducted live via Zoom. So if you want to attend these, and it's important that you attend them, then you need a good internet connection and access to Zoom so that you can listen to us, but at the same time, ask questions should you need any further clarification. And of course, this is not entirely necessary. You're not completely fail the unit if you don't have good internet connection and access to Zoom, because we will record all of these sessions and upload them to Moodle so that you can watch them later. But as I said, of course, it would be much better if you attend them in live so that you can benefit from the fact that you can ask questions and ask for further clarification. Of course, there will be some material that we will provide to you on a weekly basis, and these will be placed under the relevant topic folders under the given weeks. So that's all for now about the unit outline of this unit. I really look forward to meeting all of you next week in live face-to-face, and of course, some of you via Zoom. But if you have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to reach out to us at any time, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for your attention, and see you next week.